Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm delighted to see you all here today. Today, we will be focusing on the review of logbooks and equipment records. My name is Dr. S.K. Singh, and I hold a PhD in this field. In this presentation, we'll explore best practices for maintaining and reviewing these important records. We'll discuss how accurate documentation supports quality and compliance. So, let's get started and see how we can ensure our record keeping is top-notch. Welcome to our next topic, which is all about logbooks and equipment records. These documents are fundamental in our industry because they serve as official records of how equipment is operated, cleaned, maintained, calibrated, and qualified. They also document the usage history of our equipment in both pharmaceutical manufacturing and laboratory settings. Proper review of these records is critical. It helps us ensure traceability, meaning we can follow the history of each piece of equipment. It also safeguards data integrity and confirms that our equipment is reliable and functioning correctly. Importantly, maintaining accurate records supports compliance with regulatory standards, which is essential for our industry. Now, why is this so important? Well, these records provide documented evidence of the current status of our equipment. They help us trace every operation, which is vital if we need to investigate any issues later. They also support the qualification and maintenance processes, making sure everything is up to standard. Additionally, meticulous documentation helps prevent failures or deviations related to equipment. That can save time, resources, and even patient safety. And of course, keeping thorough records demonstrates our compliance with regulatory requirements, which is fundamental in maintaining trust and integrity in our operations. So, in essence, these records are not just paperwork. They are the backbone of quality, safety, and compliance in our work. Let's take a closer look at the different types of logbooks and equipment records that are essential in a laboratory setting. First, we have equipment-related records. These include equipment usage logbooks, which track how and when equipment is used, helping us ensure proper operation and identify any issues early on. Cleaning logbooks are equally important because they document regular cleaning routines, maintaining hygiene, and preventing contamination. Calibration records are critical for verifying that instruments are providing accurate measurements, which is fundamental for reliable results. Preventive maintenance records help us plan and document routine checks and servicing, reducing the risk of unexpected failures. Breakdown and repair records are also vital, as they give us insight into equipment problems and how they've been addressed. Equipment qualification records confirm that equipment meets necessary standards before use, ensuring compliance and data integrity. Temperature and pressure monitoring logs are particularly important for processes where precise environmental conditions are crucial. Lastly, instrument usage records provide detailed histories of how instruments are operated, supporting traceability and accountability. Moving on to laboratory records, these include instrument logbooks that document operational details for various devices. Balance usage logs track weighing activities, ensuring accuracy and consistency. HPLC and GC system records are essential for documenting the performance and maintenance of chromatography systems, which are often central to our analyses. Autoclave and incubator logs help us maintain sterilization standards and proper incubation conditions, which are vital for experimental reliability. Overall, these records form the backbone of quality assurance, compliance, and traceability, and they connect directly to our overarching goal of maintaining integrity and confidence in our lab results. Let's take a moment to discuss the purpose of reviewing records. When we do this, our key objectives are to ensure that equipment is being used correctly and is in proper operational condition. It's also about verifying that cleaning and maintenance procedures are being followed consistently. We want to confirm that calibration has been done properly and remains valid before we use any equipment, so we can trust the results. Detecting any discrepancies or unauthorized entries is crucial to maintaining the integrity of our processes. Additionally, we need to verify that we're following standard operating procedures and schedules, ensuring everything is consistent and compliant. And of course, maintaining complete and traceable documentation is essential, so we can always review what happened and when. The ultimate outcome of all this is to ensure our equipment performs reliably and that we stay in compliance with GMP requirements. This review process helps us uphold quality and safety throughout our operations. Let's now take a closer look at good documentation practices, or GDP. These principles are essential to ensure that our records are reliable and trustworthy. First, entries must be legible and permanent. This means we should avoid anything that can be erased or washed away, so the record remains clear over time. Records also need to be made at the time the activity occurs, which is called being contemporaneous. This helps prevent any memory issues or alterations later on. Speaking of alterations, there should be no overwriting or correction fluid used on official records. If a mistake is made, corrections must be signed, dated, and justified, so there's a clear trail of what was changed and why. Also, blank spaces should be avoided, as they can be filled in later inappropriately. And finally, every entry should include the date and the signature or initials of the person making it to establish accountability. Now, connecting this to the ALCOA Plus principles, which expand on these ideas. ALCOA Plus stands for attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, and complete and consistent. Each of these is a cornerstone of good documentation. Attributable means it's clear who made each entry. Legible ensures that records can be read easily. Contemporaneous, as we discussed, means recorded at the time of the event. Original indicates that we keep the first or primary record, not copies or later reproductions. Accurate emphasizes correctness and precision. And complete and consistent means all necessary information is included and the records follow a logical, consistent pattern. Together, GDP and ALCOA Plus principles help us maintain integrity and compliance in our documentation, which is vital to the overall quality and safety of our work. Now, let's review the key points for verifying equipment usage logbooks. First, it's essential to check that the equipment was cleaned before use. This ensures hygiene and prevents cross-contamination. Next, verify that the calibration status was valid. Accurate calibration is crucial for reliable results. We also need to confirm there are no overlapping or missing entries, which helps maintain accurate records and traceability. Moving on to the review checklist, make sure the equipment identification number is recorded correctly. This helps us track specific equipment easily. Product and batch details should be available for each entry, linking the equipment to the specific materials used. Check that date and time entries are completed properly. Timeliness is important for process integrity. Operator signatures must be present, confirming who performed the task. The equipment status should be labeled correctly, indicating whether it's in use, cleaned, or in maintenance. Lastly, the usage sequence should be traceable, ensuring we can follow the workflow step by step if needed. All these points tie back to our overall goal: maintaining accurate, complete records to ensure quality and compliance throughout our processes. Now, let's take a look at the review of cleaning and maintenance records. First, when we talk about cleaning verification, it's important to ensure that the cleaning was performed according to our standard operating procedures, or SOPs. This means checking that the right cleaning agents and methods were used and properly documented. We also verify that line clearance was completed, which helps prevent cross-contamination, and that all cleaning status labels are up to date, giving us a clear indication of the equipment's cleanliness. Moving on to maintenance record review, we want to confirm that preventive maintenance was done on schedule to keep equipment operating smoothly. Any breakdown repairs should be thoroughly documented, so we have a clear history. Replacing spare parts must also be recorded to track what was replaced and when. Finally, post-maintenance verification is crucial. They ensure that after maintenance, the equipment is functioning correctly and safely. All of these steps emphasize an essential point. Maintaining accurate records is key to keeping our equipment suitable for its intended use. Proper cleaning and maintenance not only support compliance, but also help us ensure quality and safety in our operations. Remember, thorough documentation and verification are the backbone of a reliable, compliant facility. Let's take a closer look at the calibration and qualification records. First, under calibration review, we verify that calibration due dates are up to date, ensuring that equipment is checked regularly and on schedule. We also make sure that calibration status labels are clearly available, so everyone can quickly see if equipment is in calibration or out of tolerance. If any out-of-tolerance findings are identified, they are promptly investigated to determine the cause and necessary corrective actions. Additionally, all calibration certificates are carefully reviewed and approved, confirming that the calibration process meets our quality standards. Moving on to qualification review, we ensure that all IQ, OQ, and PQ documentation is complete. These documents are essential because they provide evidence that equipment has been installed, operated, and performed as intended. If requalification is required, it's performed systematically to maintain ongoing compliance. Any deviations found during qualification are thoroughly documented along with corrective actions, which helps us keep everything transparent and traceable. The overall objective here is clear: to guarantee that our equipment remains accurate, reliable, and compliant with industry standards. This process is fundamental to upholding the quality and integrity of our operations, supporting our commitment to delivering safe and effective products. Now, let's look at electronic records and audit trails. These are crucial for ensuring data integrity and compliance. First, electronic data review involves regularly examining our electronic records to catch any discrepancies early. We also enable and review audit trails, which are like digital footprints that track every change made to the data. User access is tightly controlled to prevent unauthorized modifications, and electronic signatures are used in a way that's fully compliant with regulations. Any changes made are properly documented, creating a transparent history. Additionally, we verify backup and archival processes to ensure data is protected and recoverable in case of issues. Moving on to regulatory expectations, compliance with 21 CFR Part 11 is essential. This regulation sets the standards for electronic records and signatures, ensuring they are trustworthy and equivalent to paper. Our computerized systems are validated, meaning we test and confirm they work correctly and reliably. Data security and integrity are maintained at all times, which is fundamental for regulatory compliance and for building trust in our data. Overall, these practices form the backbone of a robust electronic record system that supports both our operational needs and regulatory requirements. Let's take a closer look at some of the frequently observed GMP issues that can arise in our operations. These common deficiencies often include incomplete logbook entries, where important details are missing or unclear. Missing signatures or dates can also be a problem, as they impact the traceability and accountability of records. Overwriting entries without proper justification can lead to confusion and compromise data integrity. Additionally, the use of unofficial log sheets instead of standardized forms undermines consistency and compliance. Another critical issue is equipment used after its calibration due date, which can directly affect product quality and safety. Inadequate maintenance documentation is also a concern, as it makes it difficult to verify proper equipment upkeep. Lastly, missing audit trail reviews can hinder our ability to identify issues or track changes over time. Now, let's consider the regulatory impact of these deficiencies. Such GMP observations can result in warning letters from authorities, which can harm our reputation and operational standing. They also increase the risk of inspections, which can be more frequent and intensive if issues persist. Most importantly, these deficiencies have the potential to impact product quality, risking consumer safety and compliance. Overall, addressing these issues proactively is essential for maintaining compliance, safeguarding product integrity, and supporting our commitment to quality. Now, let's talk about handling discrepancies that we might encounter during our processes. One common area of deviation includes missed maintenance schedules, which can lead to unexpected failures if not addressed promptly. We also see incomplete records, which make it difficult to track what has truly been done or what might be missing. Equipment malfunction during operation is another key issue, These can disrupt production and compromise quality. Calibration failures are also critical, as they directly impact the accuracy and reliability of our measurements. Lastly, we often see unauthorized changes in records, which can undermine the integrity of our documentation and compliance efforts. When these discrepancies happen, it's essential to conduct a thorough investigation. This involves root cause analysis to identify exactly what went wrong and why. We also need an impact assessment to understand how these deviations affect our product quality and regulatory compliance. Based on this investigation, implementing corrective and preventive actions, or CAPA, is vital to prevent recurrence. And of course, all findings and actions should be reviewed and approved by our QA team to ensure everything aligns with our standards. By systematically handling discrepancies like this, we reinforce the overall integrity of our processes and maintain the quality of our products. Now, let's talk about personnel responsibilities, starting with operators and users. It's crucial that everyone records activities accurately, because precise records form the backbone of our quality system. Following approved standard operating procedures, or SOPs, is equally important to ensure consistency and compliance. And of course, reporting any abnormalities immediately helps us address issues before they escalate, maintaining the integrity of our process. Moving on to supervisors and reviewers, their role is to verify that all documentation is complete and compliant with regulatory standards. They review entries carefully, checking for discrepancies that could indicate errors or deviations. Ensuring timely review of documentation keeps our processes on track and helps us stay compliant with deadlines. Finally, quality assurance plays a vital oversight role. They oversee record control, making sure everything is properly maintained and accessible. Periodic audits and compliance checks are essential to identify any gaps and uphold our standards. And of course, they are responsible for approving and archiving records, which ensures that everything is properly documented and stored for future reference. Together, these responsibilities create a strong framework that supports the overall quality and integrity of our operations. Now, let's discuss some recommended best practices to strengthen our compliance efforts. First, it's crucial to use controlled logbooks exclusively. This helps ensure that records are accurate and tamper-proof. Regularly reviewing these records through periodic audits is also vital to catch any discrepancies early on. Training personnel on good documentation practices and data integrity is another key component. Well-trained staff are our first line of defense. Maintaining a clear equipment status labeling system is essential for quick identification and proper maintenance. Routine internal audits help us continuously monitor and improve our processes. When applicable, digitizing records with validated systems not only enhances accuracy, but also makes retrieval more efficient. Monitoring calibration and maintenance schedules electronically ensures that equipment stays in optimal condition, reducing risk. Moving to continuous improvement, trending recurring errors allows us to identify patterns and address root causes effectively. Conducting CAPA, corrective and preventive action, effectiveness reviews helps us evaluate whether our corrective measures are truly working. And finally, keeping our standard operating procedures up to date through regular reviews ensures that our practices stay aligned with current regulations and industry standards. Together, these practices form a comprehensive approach to maintaining high quality and compliance throughout our operations. Let's wrap up with some key takeaways. Logbooks and equipment records are truly critical GMP documents. They serve as the foundation for traceability and help ensure equipment reliability. When reviews are done effectively, they support maintaining accurate records, which is essential for data integrity and compliance. Regular monitoring of these documents and equipment helps us catch potential issues early, minimizing operational disruptions and regulatory risks. And of course, strong quality assurance oversight not only improves our inspection readiness, but also boosts overall product quality. In essence, diligent documentation and ongoing review are vital for a robust and compliant manufacturing process. For further support, please feel free to contact us. We're here to help and answer any questions you might have after today's presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We appreciate your interest and engagement. If you need any additional information or assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. Once again, thank you all and have a great day.